Hello, and thanks for looking at this latest video on the channel. And I'm back with a bit more vintage railway action. Now, if you saw the last video, you'll perhaps remember that this week I said we'd be looking at this Triang Railways RS29 set. Now, I'm going to have a bit of fun showing you inside there in a minute, but look at this. I've just got an R355 industrial engine running around the test track just to check it's working okay. It's poly and some Wren wagons, and I'm probably getting sidetracked by having a bit of fun with this, so I'm just going to turn the old clipper controller down, bring it to a stop, and before I put the camera on the tripod I'm just going to lift the lid from this set. I'm just going to be a bit careful because these boxes, they get very damaged very easily, but this one is in quite good condition. It seems to be holding together on the corners. And okay, so what have we got in this set? So we're going to be looking at these coaches. Be interesting to see. It looks like they're on pinpoints, which is nice. There's just a servicing scheme in here. Down here we've got some Super 4 track, uncoupling wrap, and a dubious looking power clip, and then the loco. Let's take a quick look before we get onto the, let's just see, can you see on the bottom there's the tender number R39. Wheels are a little bit dirty but not too bad, and on the whole it looks in nice condition, doesn't it? A little bit of rust on the coupling, so let's just stand that there and lift out the loco. We're going to be trying to get this going shortly. Okay, well, I wonder if you can spot something just in this first initial look at the loco that might be out of the ordinary. I'm not going to say anything at the moment, but I've spotted it already. But look at those cab numbers, really crisp. Brass safety valves and whistle. Let's just turn it over. It seems that all the steps are intact. They get broken off quite often. There's these front ones just by my thumb and a rear one, but this loco luckily has all its steps intact. So yes, already I can see that this has been added to. So what am I referring to? Right, I'll get the camera up on the tripod. We'll take a look at all the items, and not just the ones in this set. Let me just pop that down. In fact, I don't want to damage that really excellent label. Let me just pop the two items back. Look at this, just check that out. Triang Railways RS29 train set. That looks great, doesn't it? The box is actually in really good condition, so I'm hoping that the items will be too. Now, I did say I'd picked up some other items in the summer to go with this set, and look at this R628. That's the buffet car, crimson and cream with seats. This is a great colour scheme. I've enjoyed seeing Oscar running a few of these in some of his recent videos, and it might be that that helped me decide to look out for some myself, as I didn't have them. They weren't made for a huge length of time in this livery, and it's really attractive, so I'm pleased to have picked up a few. Now look here, this is R626 first and second composite coach, and it's got seats. I do believe that some versions you might have had to have put seating modules in yourself, but these being slightly later probably automatically come with them. And it looks like we're all on pinpoints, no open axle boxes. And the last item we're going to be looking at is R627 brake and second class coach, crimson and cream with seats. So yeah, what have we got in there? That's blue interior detail in that one, and in this one, I don't know whether the camera, that looks almost grey. It's great that they've got sort of different coloured interiors, isn't it? And what about the buffet car? Let's have a look in that. That looks white. I'm going to lift these out and just look now. I've got sort of interested in the colours of the interior fittings. This one Yep, that's a pale blue, isn't it? And you can already see that it's in quite lovely condition. And let's just get the final coach out for a quick look. I've got my coat on today, you might see. It's quite chilly up here. So this one's got, yeah, this has got the light blue interior too. So we've got a mixture of interior colours. So that gives a bit of variation on the layout. And altogether, I think there's some lovely items. So what I'm going to do is put this camera up on a stand and we'll see if we can get some life out of the loco and take a quick look at the items just one at a time. Right, well, I've done a bit of unboxing, got a few bits set up, and I'm looking forward to sharing these items with you. But before we do, let me just refer back to the first part of the video. I think I was a bit wrong to suggest that Triang didn't make a lot of coaches in this colour scheme, because if we go back a bit and include this shorter coach, they made a great quantity of these, didn't they? I bet we've all seen them or got them. And it was only, what I really meant to say was, when they moved on to the longer coaches, that they didn't survive very long, just a few years. So I hope that clears that up a bit. And these are just attractive items as well. And look, that's got a seating unit in it. It's a slightly later one. And I do believe, no, are they pinpoints? No, they're sleeve wheels, but closed axle boxes. So yeah, another different variation. We're going to have to take a look at some of these short coaches again soon, because they do look good even on the main layout. I like the length of them and they make up really attractive trains. So I'm going to put that to one side. Now, I've hunted up a few catalogues because we all like to have a look at them, don't we? Well, I do. So 9th edition, look at that picture. That's looking a bit like a Cuneo picture to me. So let's open it up and see if we can see an RS29 train set. Now, that is the wrong price list for this catalogue. I just shoved that in there. So look, let's look at this page, because there's a pair of really nice train sets. We've got the one we're looking at the top, and indeed RS29 local passenger train set, and the price there, 77 shillings and sixpence, and there it is. And doesn't it look good with that B12 loco? They've made the safety valves stand out there, haven't they, showing the brass. And then below it there's a more powerful and bigger set, Catch the Night Sleeper. But there we go, it's known as the local passenger train set in this catalogue. So let's move on to the next catalogue, one that I really like to look at, with all the Minnick Motorways items in. And I've marked a page here. I really must go through the catalogues again a bit more in detail sometimes. It's great fun to look at them. So here we are, right on the bottom of page 7, and there it is again. It's called the local passenger train set. So there's 2 years of it in the catalogues. Now, it's when I get to this catalogue, catalogue 11. Oh, it's one of my favourites. We don't look at this enough. It's got such a great picture of the rocket on there, class 31. And look at the colours in this sort of sky. Lots of fiery oranges and purples. It's just a great picture, isn't it? You can almost smell all the oil. Right, let's have a look in this. Okay, just take that out. Oh, now, this is what I was on about in the previous video. It's turned into the Holiday Express train set. Isn't it a lovely looking item? Exactly the same as the 2 previous years, but with a new name. Now, if any of you know whether there was ever a special box for this, it would be good to know. I don't know, and I haven't been able to find out. Still called the RS29 though, and look above it, that Highwayman, that's beautiful, isn't it? With the wonderful electric locomotive and the pantographs there, and then of course the blue Pullman. Now, I think I do have a price list here for the Holiday Express. Let's have a look. second from the top, train sets, RS29, Holiday Express, 85 shillings. So gone up 5 shillings since the initial time we saw it. And also I've looked out this next catalogue because I thought, I wonder if it's in edition 12, and it's not there. There's some other sets. We've got the Carabelle pickup goods set. Look, the Freight Master there, that's such a lovely item, isn't it? And then on this page we've got an Intercity, the Midlander, beautiful set. I have featured that on the channel before, and the Blue Pullman, but nowhere can I see the B12. So I do think that's the end of the RS29. Right, there's Polly. Let me just double check I've got some power. Indeed. So we're going to check the chassis out of this B12 in a minute, but let's put Polly out the way. Right, what I need to do is get the body off. So I know I've given you this advice before, but this screw in the back, please, I'm just going to change my glasses so I can hopefully get the screwdriver into the slot a bit better. Don't do them up too tight because the plastic just will crack. Whoops, had a little bit of a slip there. Right, I wonder if that's enough for me to just grip that. Yeah. So, okay, now did you remember me saying I thought I could see something different about this? Check out that yellow wire. Someone has put a smoke unit in this. Now, it wasn't standard when the set was made, so it's had a bit of an upgrade. I think I really ought to do a video on Synchro Smoke and these soothe units. It would be great to feature them, but I think I will probably disconnect this before we run it. Now, is there any life in this? I do like to just feed in a bit of power and see. So I'm just going to get to the controller. Right, well, I've put some power in and it's spinning a little bit, but it's not going very well, so I don't want to burn it out. Hardly runs in reverse at all, but I do think we've got life. So let's check out the chassis together. So if I can get it up towards the camera, you can see we've got that brilliant XO4 motor, and I hope you can see that the condition of the motor is very good. Got that sort of shellac, yellow shellac still on the armature. It sometimes comes off, but the commutator looks very dirty. You can see the wheels. There's a shiny band on the wheels from previous running, but that's, I take it from me, when you see that, that's not the hugest amount of running. And look at the screws. There's very little burring. I don't think this has been taken apart too many times. I just think it's another excellent survivor from the 1960s. And the felt pads look very dry, but they're not discoloured. Sometimes with a lot of running, the wear from the bearings sort of moves back into the oil pad and it goes a funny colour, or people put dubious oil and they go sort of a horrible colour, but very clean. I'll probably just put the smallest amount of oil on that motor. Now, I've done quite a bit of work with brushes and stuff recently, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I will tell you what I will do with this. I'm going to put the smallest amount of oil on the bearings. I'm going to clean the commutator and the brushes and just give the wheels a once over. And I bet that will have it back running. We better just check the magnet. Let's give it a sort of screwdriver test. Well, look, you can see that it's holding on there. That's not too bad. I mean, you could probably improve it a bit with a remagnetization, but I'm not going to do that because I'm ready now for a bit of fun. I want to get running this item. I don't want to spend all day taking it apart needlessly. And sometimes less is more when it comes to servicing. So I'm sure just 10 minutes off camera, we'll have that running really well. Okay, well, before we go to a bit of running, I think it'd be nice just to look at some other items. The accessories in the box, apart from the Super 4 track, we've got the uncoupling ramp. And if you look at that uncoupling ramp, can I get a glint of light on that? When they've been used a lot, when the couplings get drawn across the ramp, you get lines. Now look at that, it's virtually unmarked, so it's not been fitted or it's had a lot of running, has it? So that's nice, but the power clip's a bit dubious. Looks to me like it's slightly melted, could be a bit missing off there, a bit of corrosion, but it's still a power clip and a nice thing to have. The Super 4 in the set, we'll just look at one bit. It's not in bad condition, bit of tarnishing that could be cleaned up and used. And look, the half sleeper ends, these are the bits that get knocked off, seem to be all there, so that would indicate to me that it's actually not had the hugest amount of use. I always like to see these little bottles, look the noise the cork makes as you pull it in and out, but look at that shell, a beautiful thing made for Triang, and enough oil in there, take it from me, to last many years on a set like this. So the coaches, there's not much to say really. We had a look at them earlier. The seating units, they're very nice to look at. The glazing's still crisp and the couplings are good, so I think they're all going to run well. So I have unboxed the ones that I got additionally. We will take a quick look at the buffet car because it's slightly different, obviously different window layout, a very nice seating unit in there, all set up for a meal, and a lot of detail on the roof. Well, the rain started coming down now outside the workshop, so I'm not going to waste time chatting away. I'm just going to put the camera off, enjoy the sound of the rain on the roof, clean up this motor, and then we're going to come back and we're going to run this set and these additional items around this larger oval of Super 4 track. Okay, well, there's still a pitter-patter of rain on the roof. It's really quite cosy up here, and all these items are on the test track. Look at that, it almost fills half a loop of track, which is probably a bit much for an oval, but we'll definitely get it on the main layout next time. So can I feed in a bit of power? Bearing in mind this has only had a clean of the commutator and brushes and a light oil. So I'm just turning the knob on the clipper a bit, and there's power available to pull all these coaches. And look at that, back to life after many years stored away safely. We've got the lovely B12 Triang Loco. The first coach is out of the box, that's the brake. Then I've added in the buffet car. The second coach is out of the train set, and then the two at the back are the additional items I picked up. And it just seems to be pulling them around nicely. Now, of course, we've got pinpoints on these coaches. Earlier sets would have probably had sleeve wheels, slightly more rolling resistance, but you can make them go very nicely with a bit of maintenance. But look at this. Be great to see some smoke out of this at some point, wouldn't it? I'll perhaps reconnect the smoke unit at some juncture and see if it works. We'll definitely have to get some smoking locos out and about on the layout. So many years dormant, safely stored in its box, but up and running again with just the lightest overhaul. These Triang locos were made well, and you can see there's years and years of life left in this. Let me see if I can get down a little bit closer to let you all see how excellent this early to mid 1960s item still looks. Now I am running this using the H&M Clipper today, which is a great controller for these Triang sets, just a bit more power in. Check that out. It's quite easy to spend a long time just playing with a set like this. I've had great fun getting this out and showing you all the items. I hope you've enjoyed seeing them and a quick glance at the history of the set in the catalogues. I think for the next video this has definitely got to go on to the main lines, and also I ought to start thinking about looking at the Hornby 00 Class 20 that very unfortunately seems to have dissolved its tyres while it's been set on the layout. That's its traction tyres, so maybe we'll get a look at those items next week. But for now I'm going to say thank you very much for looking at the channel and this video. I hope you've enjoyed a delve into some vintage model railway items. So until the next video, I'll leave you with the B12 pulling these marvellous Triang coaches and say goodbye.